Welcome to what I spent in a week as a 37-year-old single, child-free woman living in Minneapolis. I'm Tina, if you're new here. I'm still Tina even if you're not new here, but if you're new here, I'm Tina. I am a registered dental hygienist. I graduated a year ago, which is crazy. I think I'm still considered a new grad. I still feel very new, learning stuff every day, but this video is not about me being a dental hygienist, it's about what I spent. So let's go back to Friday and see what we spent. I have my notes here. My notes? Okay, so on Friday, I went to Walmart and I had $1 in Walmart cash, and the rest of my Walmart order was $45.56. You can see what I bought, mostly food, a couple of household items. That toilet paper really took me out. It seems like I wouldn't have spent $45.56, really $46.56 because of that $1 in Walmart cash. But I mean, I guess the little things add up. I did buy more toilet paper rolls than I normally do just because I felt like I ran out sooner. So I was like, let me just buy more, which I don't even know if that actually makes sense. It's not like I only can go to Walmart and get toilet paper sometime. I can get it whenever I want. But anyway, that's the only thing that I spent on Friday. On Saturday, the first thing that I bought was 2 seat cushions on Amazon. Those were $52.51. I've been trying to figure out a cushion because like when I sit sometimes, not sometimes, like all the time, my coccyx, my tailbone is like really hurts. It's really painful. Like out of a, 0 to 10, 1 to 10, it's like for sure an 8.5. Like it's really painful. But it's not painful when I'm sitting. It's mostly painful when I stand up. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, I'm trying to find like a cushion. Maybe I should just sit on my ass a little bit less. Maybe that would be the solution, but why do that? I can purchase something, right? I went to the Capital One Cafe, which is like my weakness, and I got a matcha latte, and I got a Unreal peanut butter cup. They sell the single peanut butter cups for $1, and then I tipped $1. So I spent $6.37 on that. At the Capital One Cafe, if you have a Capital One card, you get 50% off. And I have a secured, well, it's not secured anymore. It got unsecured, but I have a credit card from Capital One, which is what I use to buy my Capital One Cafe drinks on, which is like a good thing and a bad thing because since that's the only thing I spend, it is very easy to be like, oh, I spent $50 on my credit card. So that means you spent $50 on Capital One Cafe matcha lattes. Like, yikes. But, I'm hoping that by spending consistently, I will get a higher credit limit. The way that secured credit cards work, if you're not familiar, is like when you put your security deposit down, that's not like you don't spend from that money. You still, use the credit. But eventually when they unsecure the card, you get that security deposit back and you're just spending on credit. So I'm just spending on credit still, but they didn't raise my credit limit. It's still $200. So the hope is that by spending, I will get a higher credit limit. I don't know why. There's something that I want to like buy that I don't have the money for that I want to put on credit. But, I guess just like utilization ratio, it's better to have more credit and use less. So that's that on that. On Sunday, I went to the other place that has me in a chokehold. I went to Culver's and I spent $7.59. I got what I always get. I got a kid's meal, single cheeseburger, french fries, drink, and a scoop of custard, $7.59. And then I went on Amazon and I purchased some like nitrile gloves, like gloves you see in the dentist's office or at the doctor's office. And I don't know if that's how you pronounce it either, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it here. If you know something different, feel free to let me know in the comments. Anyhow, there was a pretty good coupon on the gloves. It was 200 gloves and I got them for $8.74, which was the cheapest price I had seen anywhere. I was going to purchase on Temu, which is where I think I had probably purchased the last gloves I bought, but they were more expensive than that. Monday, I went to Capital One Cafe again. Good Lord. Same thing, matcha latte, but I did not get a peanut butter cup. I still tipped $1. So I spent $5.28. I'm telling you, I gotta kind of figure out, I think I should ask them where they get I know where they get their green tea from. It's like the brand is Rishi or something, but I don't know which one they have because when you go on the Rishi website, there are many different green teas and I don't know which is the right one. And I'm the type of person where it's like when I like something, I can't just make it at home and it be like similar and it just scratches the itch. It has to be like the same. It has to be like the same or else I'm just going to be like, well, I wish I was at the Capital One Cafe instead of trying to make this, rinky-dink bullshit knockoff version. So I got to ask them which is the one they use. And then I got to figure out how to make the syrup that I get in it, the vanilla syrup. That's probably more simple than it sounds. It's probably just like a simple syrup with the vanilla infusion. And I do have some vanilla beans because a few years ago when I was in dental hygiene school, actually, I made some homemade vanilla, and I actually still have most of it. I made it with like vodka, and then I made a second one with vodka. And at this point, they've been steeping probably for at least 1 year, both of them. And I use them occasionally, but I just haven't cooked very often. But anyway, I have some leftover vanilla beans, so I could probably get the vanilla simple syrup pretty good. It would just be figuring out which green tea they use. So next time I go, I'm gonna try to figure that out. I also spent $25 on my Total Wireless bill, which is my cell phone. I have prepaid. And the reason it's $25 is because it's normally $60, but then it's discounted 50% for some unknown reason. And then they give me $5 off for using auto pay. I was trying to see if I could save a little bit more money and reduce it to $20, get the $55 plan, get the $5 credit, and then get the 50% off. But I can't figure out if the 50% off will actually follow or not. And I don't want to lose my 50% discount trying to save $5 and then I end up spending $15 more, you know what I'm saying? So I just left it alone. I'll just, $25, it's fine. It's just that I don't think I need all the features that the $25 plan is giving me. I think the $20 plan would be fine, but like I said, I'm not willing to risk it. I'm not really willing to look into it. It's just not that big of a deal for me. I mean, yes, $5 a month. What is that? $60 a year. That's good, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe I will look into it because, you know, $60, that's like a whole month of matcha lattes. No, I'm joking. That's more than a month, but you get the point. Okay, so now we're to Tuesday and we got some money coming back into the budget. I'll start with that. I returned one of the cushions that I bought on Saturday and another one that I had purchased like a week or so ago. I returned them both and Amazon like refunded the money right away. So one was $27.25 back into the budget. The other was $18.52 back into the budget. So that's really good. But now we come to the second time I went to Culver's and spent $7.59 once again. Like I said, Culver's has me in a chokehold, but I think I might be sick of it. Like I thought of going to Culver's today and I was like, I don't want to go to Culver's. Like I'm fucking sick of Culver's. I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't know if I'm actually sick of Culver's or if I'm just trying to tell myself I'm sick of Culver's. I think I might actually be sick of it. Or maybe just sick of myself eating Culver's, if that makes sense. Either way it goes, I didn't eat it today, so that's a win. But I did eat it on Tuesday, spent $7.59. And then I went to FedEx and I had to spend 99 cents because I printed out 4 documents. Originally, I had went to the library and printed out these documents. The library gives you $5 a month in printing for free. However, they didn't print right. So I needed to go print them again. I didn't need to. I could have handwritten it in, but I wanted it to be like more professional. So I wanted to print it out. It was like PDF documents that I filled in and they didn't print with the stuff that got filled in. I had to tinker with it. So those 4 pages were 99 cents total. The reason I needed to print stuff is because the next day, Wednesday, I temped, but I temped off of the apps. I just temped like as an not independent contractor because I did it in like a way where I'm getting a W-2, like I'm put on their payroll. I provided the office with my I-9, my passport card so that they could verify. I gave them a W-4, I think it is. W-4. I gave them a copy of my, CPR, a copy of my dental hygiene license, a copy of my, direct deposit information, from the bank. I gave them a copy of another thing that I purchased on Tuesday, which was malpractice insurance. I purchased a year's policy for $45. It is $1 million per incident and $6 million per year. $45, really good deal. I think it was only $35 and then there was $10 worth of administrative fees. But anyhow, you don't really have to have or provide malpractice insurance if you want to temp off the apps. Just the type of person I am, I always buy the warranty, I always plan ahead, I think of these things. So I don't want to have not spent $45 and then there's something that somebody, files a malpractice suit against me and I am like, damn, if I had just spent $45, I could not have to be worried about this, That was Tuesday. Wednesday, Canva, that came out of my account. That was $18. They increased their prices. It used to be $15 for the longest time, and then they increased it to $18, which totally sucks. But I use Canva a lot. I use it for all my thumbnails and I use it for my digital products. If this is the first time you're hearing about that, you can look in the link below. Go to my website, tinawilliams.co. I have some budgeting tools there. There's a spreadsheet, there's some printables, there's an ebook, there's a toolkit where you can get them all for a special price now. But I use it a lot. I mean, it's there are other websites that I could use to do what Canva does, but it's just so convenient. I'll just pay the $18. It kind of sucks, especially because I don't make any money from YouTube. We just recently reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much if you are subscribed. But I don't have the watch time hours. You need 4,000 watch hours, and I'm not quite there yet. So I'm not being monetized on YouTube. There's like literally no money coming in. But once I have money coming in, like at least enough money to cover the subscription stuff that I purchase every month, that will feel really good. Until then, $18 is going out every month for Canva. I mean, back in the day when I first had my YouTube channel, I was paying for Epidemic Sound every month, which was I think $18. And I probably was paying for Canva for a long time. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. $18 is like literally 20 minutes at work for me. Like I'm not gonna, not eat because I'm getting Canva. Like I'm not gonna be able to not be able to pay my rent because I subscribe to Canva, not a big deal. Wednesday was also the day that I did the working interview. Well, it was like when I said I temped off the app, it was kind of like a working interview, which went really great, by the way. And I got an offer and we negotiated some things, and it seems great. You never know, right? But it seems great. But I was able to park for free during that working interview, which is nice because when I had my first interview, I parked on the street and I had to pay. But that was obviously a really short amount of time. This was a full day. So not having to pay for that was great. After the working interview, I was like, okay, I'm driving home and I do not want to worry about dinner. So I want to go to the co-op. And I kind of took it easy at the co-op. I got 3 things. I got a sandwich. Did they not rate me up for the sandwich? Oh yeah, they did, which was $8.99. Pretty good price. And all this I got a 10% discount on because I'm like an owner of the co-op. I got a cookie, peanut butter cookie, a vegan cookie. If you live in Minneapolis, go to the Wedge Co-op, get their vegan peanut butter cookie. It is so freaking good. I'm not vegan. It is so good. Like, especially when it's soft, if they don't like overcook it. If they make it hard and it's overbaked, it's not as great, but it is so freaking good. And then I got a piece of cardamom spice cake with coffee buttercream. Great in theory, in execution, not good at all. Of course, I ate all that food. The not great cake, down to the cookie, down to the sandwich, ate it all. So can't be stopped. I wouldn't have got 2 desserts except for the fact that I walked in, grabbed the cookie because it was like right by the door. And then I walked over to get the sandwich. And then like I kept walking and look and see what they had as far as like cold desserts. And then hoping they had key lime pie, which is really great from the co-op. But then I saw the cardamom spice cake with coffee buttercream and I was like, damn, 2 great tastes that taste great together. It should be great. And it was just like not great. And I was like, I want to get the cake for sure, but I don't want to go put the cookie back because even though I touched it with the tissue, like it's in a, one of those single bags. And I was like, that's kind of like gross and weird to like put the cookie back. So I was like, I have to get the cookie and I feel like I want to get the cake. So I bought them both and there you go. That's that on that. But anyway, that cost me $12.89 total, which again, I felt like I got off pretty easy there. The cookie was $1.99, which is kind of crazy. And the cake was $2.53. It was sold by weight, so I picked which one I wanted. I didn't pick a cheaper one, but sometimes those cakes that are sold by weight, you can spend $4, $5, but it was a pretty good price. So $12.89 at the co-op, so that was my dinner. And then Thursday, you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe it. But I actually went to the Capital One Cafe again. So on Monday when I went, and then today when I went, I worked at the same office on both days, and it's like in between my house and the Capital One Cafe. On Monday, I went to the Capital One Cafe on lunch because the patient after lunch, they were removed out of my schedule, which is nice because it was my second new patient of the day, and I was the only one who had a new patient, let alone 2 new patients that day. So I ended up having basically an empty hour after lunch. So before I left for lunch, I checked with the front desk and asked them if they planned on filling the schedule. They said they didn't. So I told them I was going to take a long lunch. So I ended up staying on for only an hour and 15 minutes, but that gave me time to drive to the Capital One Cafe and then come back to the office. So I had my matcha in the middle of the day. Today I worked 7:30 to 1. So and it was just like 5 pages in a row, no break. We're not even going to get into it. But after I got off work, I was like, I need Capital One Cafe. So I went to the Capital One Cafe and spent another $5.28. And spoiler alert, even though I went twice already, and I think I said in my video where I talked about how I'm starting a savings challenge, I said I was only gonna go to Capital One Cafe twice a week because since you get the 50% off, I was like, if you go twice a week, it's basically like you went once a week because of how much it costs. You know what I'm saying? Like girl math. But I kind of feel like that's true. But now I've deluded myself into thinking, well, if I'm only paying for 1 a week, that's not even like a treat. I should be able to get 3 times a week because that's like 1.5, like it's only 1.5 coffees a week. And I mean, when you think about it, it's not that bad because it is half off, right? If I just stop getting the peanut butter cup, that's an extra, one less dollar per time I go. But it's like some people spend $5 on coffee every single day, or even more than $5 on coffee. One of the girls that I was working with today, I'm pretty sure she got Starbucks DoorDashed because she asked me if I wanted a Starbucks, if she got one, because one of her patients was taken out of her schedule. And I was like, no, thank you. But I don't think she left the office. I think she got Starbucks DoorDash. So I can't even imagine how much Starbucks costs DoorDash, or even if you just go every day, you're gonna spend $5. Even if you go 2-3 days a week, you're gonna spend, $5. So I don't know. I'm just like judging myself against other people, which is not super helpful when it comes to budgeting and personal finance. What anybody else spends has nothing to do with what I spend. But anyway, not judging myself against others, but also judging myself against others. The fact that I spent $12.89 on food from the co-op, I mean, I don't go out to eat every day. Like, yes, Culver's, right? $7.59 though. That's $7.59. I can go to Culver's twice a week and I'm barely spending $15. Some people go to lunch every day of the week and spend $15, right? And I did go to the co-op and I spent $12.89, but it's not an everyday thing. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to rein in the spending when you look at it and you say, okay, I don't know how much I made per hour at these offices, at least $60 an hour, probably closer to 65, 70. And it's like, okay, so I can't go spend $5 on a matcha latte? Are you joking? I can't spend $12.89 on my dinner because I don't want to cook or I don't want to think about it or I don't want what's at home. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, that's how I justify these things. But finishing up the budget, I also spent $448.99 at Walmart on medication today, which is a killer. But what are you going to do? That's healthcare in America. You have insurance and you still are paying almost $450 for medication. So that's how it works. And that is what I spent in a week as a 37-year-old living in Minneapolis, single, child-free. I have a 1-bedroom apartment with a balcony. I don't know if you would call it luxury. I mean, we have like a concierge, like 24/7, and like when you get like packages, they like bring them to your door. They will bring them inside your house if you want, if you're away. We have like a pool. We have a couple workout rooms. I mean, maybe it's a luxury place, but nice place. This is what I spend. This is my lifestyle. If you like what you see, subscribe, become part of our 1K and growing. It is kind of true what they say that once you get 1K, like you start growing more. It's crazy. I can't believe it. But I appreciate you being here and I will see you all on Monday for another video. Bye.